and I truly felt devastated because that's 3 weigh-ins, 3 weeks, absolutely zero change. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is all about something I didn't really expect to talk about this early in the journey, a weight stall. Yep, I've been stuck at the same exact weight for the past 3 weeks. And today I want to talk to you about it honestly. I am incredibly frustrated. I feel like a Debbie Downer, but I'm just being real with my emotions and what I'm going through right now. So I want to talk about what I learned these past 5 months being on Zepbound and where I'm going to go from here. Hey all, thanks for being here. My name is Grace. I am a 38-year-old mom of two, and I started my GLP-1 journey this past February. I want to give you some data first. My weigh-in on June 24th was 245 pounds. I had lost 3 pounds. I was very excited about my weight loss that week, and I made a video. Click here if you haven't seen that video yet. I felt really good about the progress. Now, the following week, leading up to a trip that we had coming, I continued eating low carbish and moving at least 3 times a week, walks around my neighborhood. And I actually worked on some strength training at home using a kettlebell weight. My weigh-in on July 1st, right before we left for a 4-day trip to Cancun, Mexico, was 245 pounds. As far as the vacation, I stayed active the whole time. I did any logged in anywhere between 6,000 to 10,000 steps per day. They had a gym, and I actually did go to the gym. I was there for over an hour every day doing cardio and doing some weight machines. I felt good. I did a weigh-in update while on vacation. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and click on that here. Give that a watch. Now, when I came home, my most recent weigh-in on July 8th, guess what weight I was at? 245 pounds again. And I truly felt devastated because that's 3 weigh-ins, 3 weeks, absolutely zero change. If you haven't already, will you consider subscribing, hit the like, and leave me a comment? It really helps me to continue to grow the channel. Now, stalls like this can really mess with your head, and they definitely mess with mine. I'm going through a lot right now. But when I zoom out and I look at the bigger picture, this journey is so much more than 3 weeks. Over the past 15 years, I've gained over 100 pounds. There were 2 pregnancies in between 2018 and 2022. And I want to briefly take you down memory lane and show you a few pictures that actually put my weight fluctuations in perspective. Let's go down memory lane. Here's a picture of my wedding in 2010. This is when I was my absolute smallest, 165 pounds in my 20s. There was a moment where I was working out every single day. I would wake up at 5 in the morning and I was really watching what I was eating. Now, here's a picture of my honeymoon, and we went to Puerto Rico, and although I had an amazing time, here's what I can remember from my honeymoon is the fact that I came back and I had gained 7 pounds. I will never forget that. It's been 15 years and I still remember that's how much I gained. You can see here in this picture in 2013, a couple years later, the weight is already starting to creep in. This was at a family's wedding. And I felt horrified that I had to walk in the wedding party because I felt so fat. Now, in 2015, this particular picture, I am in St. Augustine, and you can tell that Florida is very hot, and somehow I'm still covered from head to toe because I absolutely hate the way that I look. Now, in 2016, I had my 30-year-old celebration, and I spent it at New York. And here's a picture of me at the Metropolitan Theater. In 2018 is when I was pregnant with my son. Here's some pictures of me pregnant on the cruise. I had incredible I was terrified of taking pictures, even before I was pregnant. Imagine while being pregnant, just like the weight gain is something I did not want recorded. But I'm glad my husband took the pictures. Now in 2019, you'll start to see me cover up my body. I would use a lot of cardigans and shawls and just extra, extra large clothing because I just did not want anyone to see what my body actually looked like. Um, now, here's a picture of us on a cruise. I hate my arms. They are, aside from my legs and my arms, I hate both body parts. But here's a family wedding in 2019. And what I wanted to mention with this picture is I could only fit into maternity clothes. This was a dress I wore during my son's pregnancy. Here's a fun picture. This was a trend during this time. People were taking pictures 9 months in and 9 months out, and I clearly still look just as large as when I was pregnant. Now, in 2020, here's a picture of me starting the year with weight loss goals, and this is where I started doing keto. A few months into doing keto, I definitely had lost weight. And in this picture here at the Friends set in Orlando, you could see that although I am a little thinner, I'm still hiding behind furniture and props because I still don't want anyone to see my body. Now, late in 2020, um, you could see here a beautiful comparison of my face before I started keto and after doing keto for a few months in, and you can definitely tell the inflammation was down. This picture here at 2020 is my birthday celebration at Hard Rock. I look tiny here, but what's crazy about this moment is that even though I look so small now, at the time when I was taking the picture, I still felt like that girl that weighed 265 pounds. Here's a Thanksgiving comparison. At this point, doing keto, a few months later, I'm definitely down at least 60 pounds. And by Mother's Day 2021, I was well down over 70 pounds. And you can see how small I look here in this bathing suit picture that I would never take nowadays. But back then, you could just see how thin I was. Here's a social media post. I did, in fact, get asked how far along I was when I was wearing this top. Now, in early 2022, I become pregnant with my daughter, and at this point, I am terrified of the weight gain. I don't want anyone taking my pictures, but I do decide later in my pregnancy that I want to take maternity pictures because I want to document my last pregnancy at this point, and I'm glad I did, and I am glad I have these memories. Late in 2022, we take a trip to Hawaii, and you can see here how massive my legs are. I am over 250 pounds here. In 2023, I am, kids are older, and I'm hiding behind my children because I don't want anyone seeing the shape of my body. In 2024, because I couldn't lose weight, I decided, well, how else can I feel better about myself? Let's start changing other parts of myself, like my hair color. And here is where I start coloring my hair purple. And this leads us into 2025. Now, here in 2025, I'm back on the path again, and this time with the support from a GLP-1 medication, specifically Zepbound. I started Zepbound on February 25th at 2.5 milligrams for 8 weeks. And during those 8 weeks, I lost 8 pounds. Then I moved up to 5 milligrams and did 12 weeks there, where I lost another 12 pounds. So that puts me at an average of 1 pound loss per week. I am still considered an average loser, although to me that feels like very slow. But I'm still moving in the right direction. If you are a fellow turtle, leave me a turtle emoji in the comments so I know that I'm not alone. I was talking to Paul Amadeus, who also is on a step-bound journey, and he has a similar start date and weight loss to mine. And he reminded me how important it is to remember it's not fast, but it's real and it's progress that I'm fighting for. So it counts. I had a follow up with my provider actually today, and we both agreed this stall is likely a signal that my body is ready for the next step. And I have seen others GLP-1 journeys where they will go through a similar stall and sometimes for even longer, more than a month, maybe 2 or even 3 months at a time, and they will stick with their dose. But I think it's a sign that I'm ready to move up. So, with the help of my provider, we're moving to 7.5 milligrams. My prescription was sent to the pharmacy this morning, and that is what I will take next week. I am hopeful that a 7.5 Zepbound dose will give me a little push in the right direction. If I can keep losing 1 pound a week, I will be happy. But if I can get even more momentum, I will be ecstatic. It's not unheard of. I mean, Joe from the UK, there was one week during her journey that she lost 9 pounds. And just this week, Tuan lost 8 pounds. It's incredibly admirable. And I look up to these queens, as an example that it can happen. We've got about 5 months left of 2025. And in my head, I'd love to lose another 40 pounds by the end of the year. But based on my progress and the data so far, realistically, I'm on track to lose another 20 pounds. And you know what? That would be a huge win. To lose 40 pounds in 1 year and not gain any weight, I know that counts. I want to remind anyone watching, a stall isn't a failure. Sometimes your body is adjusting. Sometimes it's stress. For a lot of the ladies on here, it could be hormonal. Sometimes it's just life, and life is lifing, right? If you're experiencing a stall too, don't quit. Keep going. This journey is made of hundreds of little moments, not just the numbers on the scale. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following my journey. If you haven't already, would you consider subscribing? Would you hit the like, and would you leave me a comment? I will let you know how my 7.5 dose goes next week and what the second half of 2025 brings. Leave me a comment this week. Leave me an emoji. Will you leave me a hug emoji so that I can feel all the love and support for what I'm going through right now and I can just keep going? It really does encourage me. You guys motivate me every time you leave me a comment. And I really appreciate you. Till next time. Bye, you guys.